recording. So we have in our code a wrapper. Remember to wrap things. You see how I'm wrapping all the logos here? All each division for each little background for my social links, they are wrapped. I'm gonna move them all together. Same thing, my title with the slogan, they are wrapped inside another division. So always wrap things, okay? All right. So let's go. Yes.
That's the thing. Like I was confused at one point because I understand that you wrap each element together,
Uh huh.
and you have a giant wrapper that wraps like maybe two of those elements together also.
Yeah.
Like the main wrapper, and then let's say if you have a couple of things that are supposed to be lined up, you want a wrapper around those wrappers.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Makes sense.
Unless it's only one thing. But the moment you have two, wrap them. If it's only one thing, you don't need to wrap it because you can just move that one alone. But if you have two things, three things that belong to the same, let's say,
Area.
the same area, then you wrap them together and you can move them together.
But those elements are still wrapped also.
Well, they're wrapped by a bigger wrapper, maybe like by a main wrapper that is putting everything in the middle, and even the main wrapper is wrapped by the body, right? So there's always that's why there's always a parent. Okay, there's always a parent and a child because you're wrapping things. All right. So let's start with logo. That's a class logo. I'm gonna go to CSS. So logo H1. Okay, if we go back to Google, yeah, here it will give us an example of how to use the font. Font family, dance and script, cursive. So I'm gonna copy that because that's the way to call the font. And to the logo H1, I'm gonna give it that font. Yeah? Let's give it a color. It was like a dark red, something like this. Font size, like 24. Okay. I'm gonna save it and see how it looks. Pardon me? That's what I believe. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Here in this one, it's pretty big, maybe more.
That's more. That's like 30.
70, 70. Let's okay. Let's start with the 40. Let's see, 40. Maybe you're right. You know what? You're very right. This is a font that is very small by default, extremely small. All right. Let's go for 70. Yep. And even bigger, like 90. Yep, more or less. Okay. Now, next we're gonna work with the span that we have below. So it's basically using the same font as the others. So, oh, you know what, Mariam? Here, for example, the default font family.
You mean on the top? Oh, we already had a font family.
Yeah, but I don't know why this one didn't take the font family, you see? It's on the default, which is Times.
Can't you just?
There you go.
What did you change?
Because she wrote font inside the body, that was okay. The whole body was Open Sans, but it's font family. Okay. You see, that's why you needed to rewrite it everywhere. Because the first one in the body was not font family, so I didn't apply it everywhere. So that's why I guess you needed to rewrite font family like several times. Now we can get rid of those font families. You see, you have it here again. Now it's gonna work for everything. Because I'm already declaring the font for the body, and the body is everything. So everything is already this font, right? I'm just cleaning the code a bit. All right. It's better. Good. Did you see how it took a bit longer to load this font? All right. Yes, Andrea. Huh? Mine is trending is. Okay. So let's see. The other one, then we have to give it a height to this one and also color. The color here is no idea. Okay, we're gonna try that. So now, what would be the selector for that area? Logo span, perfect. What's the font size? Anybody try? 30. And color, what was it, Mariam? Are you sure? Yep. 30. I think it's a tiny bit, no, I think tiny bit smaller, maybe 28. But what else? What can we change for it to make it look similar? What's missing? Letter spacing. Okay. So, letter spacing. What should we write? Huh? -2. Yep. I like it. So maybe Benjamin was right. It's like 30 pixels. Put it back to 30. All right. Now, do you see how both of them, Trendy Bees and the slogan, they are not only in the middle, but they are also centered. Meaning, one thing is to have them in the middle, but they could be aligned to the left. The text could be aligned to the left. But this one is centered. The text align is centered. So we have to do two things. We will have to align the wrapper to the center, and inside, text align center, right? So, the divider at the bottom, yes. But first, let's start by the wrapper, which is logo. I'm gonna give it a width. Let's say 400 pixels. And internally, text align center. Let's see how that works. The text align now is centered. Now I have to center the whole element. Correct?
I use margin block. I mean, display block.
This
And margin order.
for each one?
No, for the group.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna do that. Let's say that I didn't text align center and margin auto. Uh-huh.
I use text align auto.
Ah, exactly. That was the next thing, yes. You need both. That's what I was saying. Margin auto is to center the whole element and text align the text inside to be centered. We need both. You were right. That, yeah. Now, what I want to do, that's the easiest way. That's the easiest way. But I don't want to do it this way this time. This is the way we should do it though. Okay? This is the easiest, that's the right way to do it. But I want you to learn how to use position absolute just in case somehow you're gonna have to do it this way. Sometimes you're gonna have, for example, those pop-ups. You want to create like a kind of a light box like this one. Takes so long to load this page. I have to maximize them. Okay, for example, this one here, right? It's on top of everything. It's really floating there, right? I cannot margin out of that. That is really in a position absolute, and I put it there.
There's no full center.
Well, I could use margin auto, but then the display cannot be, the position cannot be absolute. Position absolute and margin auto do not work together. They don't work, okay? So, and if I wanted to have this, you see how it's on top of my content behind? It means that it has a position absolute. I'm putting it wherever I want. Therefore, I cannot use margin auto for this. So I need to learn how to center things. And it doesn't matter the screen if it's smaller or bigger, it's always going to remain in the middle. Right? So that's what we're going to learn today. We're going to see how to do this effect. Pardon me? And the background, this one here? Yeah, we can do something. We're gonna create, let's see. Yeah, we can create some kind of light box with CSS only. Okay. That's called a light box. Okay, now you can close it. It's gone. All right, so back to the template. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna change, instead of margin auto, let's get rid of that. We're gonna give it a position absolute. Okay, if I write top 0, left 0, where is it going to be positioned? Of the screen or of the main wrapper? Why? Because the main wrapper does not have position relative, right? If the main wrapper, which is the parent of this element, have position relative, then it will be top 0, left 0 from the main wrapper. In this case, it's not happening because it's going to look for the next parent with position relative, which is the body. So I'm going to save that. Back here. Bang. Hmm? Yeah, when you put 0, you don't need to put pixels. 0 is 0. Yeah? 0 pixels, 0 centimeters, 0 millimeters are all the same, no matter their unit. All 0. That's why you don't need to specify a unit. Okay, so now, here the trick is to understand that screens always have different sizes. Okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is to position it 50% from the left. Now, let me see if I can open Photoshop here. Okay, So imagine that this is my screen, okay? And I have another element inside. Okay. So position absolute 0, 0 is right here. Let me add another element to this. Why? Okay. So oh, something happened to the monitor? I'll check here. I'll check there. Yeah, better. And the one there, the one behind the Okay, no. So you know what it is? No, it's because I'm using colors. I'm using a lot of gray. Let me change it. Let's use. There you go. That's. I'm gonna kill you there. Okay. I don't want to have here people with epilepsy attacks or something. Okay. So the blue thing is my screen, and the red is my element with position absolute. Yeah. Top 0, 0 is there. Look at the green dot. The green circle is the one with 0, 0. Okay. It's not 0, 0 here or here or here or here. No, no, no. Here. In the top left. When I use 0, 0 from bottom right, so I'm going to take the whole element, 0, 0 bottom right, if I follow the same criteria, 0, 0 would be this, right? But when we use 0, 0 from bottom and from the right, the dot, the position of the dot changes here. That's bottom 0, right 0. What would be left 0, bottom 0? Well, it would position it there. Therefore, the position of this dot, which is the one that I'm actually taking the coordinates from, changes to here. So basically, when you say top, you use one of these two. And then when you say right, well, you use this one. When you say left, you use this one. If you say bottom, you're using one of these two. Bottom left, you use this one. Bottom right, you use this one. Okay? So, taking that into consideration, if I say top 0, which is what I have here, left 50%, 50% of my screen, would be there. Okay? So, if I say top 0, left 50%, where would the element be positioned? The circle will be on the line. Right? Now, if I take half of the width of that element, you see where the line is? I'm going to draw it on top. That is half, correct? Then my whole element is at 50% from the left. If I move the element now 50% to the left of the element, of the width of the element, 50%, I mean the half, then I can have it positioned completely in the middle. Yeah? So the formula is left 50% minus half of the width of the element. Correct? So then on the CSS, I have to say left 50% minus, which is a margin left, minus the width of the element. What's half of the width? 200. Bank. Huh? No. I lost my code.